Hello, I would like to thank you for renting our easy to drive and fun to camp Thor motor coach. As you can see, we have an awning, which you need to be careful with the awning, or like don't leave it out in a storm or even overnight, because you never know when a storm will come up. You have storage. Each of these storage bins on the bottom and in the back is for you to use. They're empty. It gives you a lot of storage. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the door of a motorhome. It has a screen door attached to the door, and you have to be very careful when you are pulling the door shut that you use this and not this screen door handle right here. And then to open the door, again, you use this handle and not the screen door handle, because the screen door handle can break off easily. And there's keys, 2 keys on the key ring, one for the deadbolt and one for the lock for the handle. There's a light switch as you come in, and there's also an awning light and a porch light and a receptacle there if you need it. Down here is a button for the awning, and off to the left of that is another button that disconnects the house batteries, but just leave that one in the on position. Right now I have the slide out, and there are 2 holes here for you to put a table in. There's a table located behind the couch, and there's also another table, smaller one, that can be located there between the seats, and the seats will swivel and face the table, or they'll swivel all the way back and face in the coach. One of the main things about a coach, of course, is the monitor. There are 2 tanks. There's the gray water tank and the black water tank. Gray water would be like your sink, and the black water is the stool water. So you can test how much is in each one. There's a freshwater tank also, by just pushing the little button, and that'll tell you what's there. There's also water heaters. One is the LP gas, another one is the 110. If you're plugged into the campground and would like to have hot water, you just flick that on, and in about 10 minutes you'll have water. If you're not hooked up to a water campground sometime and you need to use the toilet or wash dishes or use the sink, you can turn on the water pump, and the water pump, you'll hear it run for a little bit, and then it'll gain pressure and shut off, and then you'll have water from the freshwater tank right here. Tank heaters you don't need to worry about. The slide is right here, and I'll show you that. If you use the generator, give you electricity for the televisions, for the microwave. If you're boondocking overnight, you can start the generator by pushing the stop button down until the red light comes on, and then it's primed up, and then you can push the start button and you'll hear the generator begin to start. Sometimes it takes 2 little tries in order for that to happen. I'd like to show you the slide out, because right now it's out, but I'm going to go ahead and retract it. And when you do that, you start the retracting or the extending, and do not stop until it's all the way in. Just be careful when you're extending it that there are no trees on the other side or any cars parked there, because it does stick out there a little ways. And make sure no one's riding on the couch when it comes in or out, so that way it doesn't have a lot of pull to it. And then it'll stop, and then you can go ahead and let off on it. There's televisions. This is television number 1, and there's television 2 back there, and number 3 is on the outside. If you're close enough to a television signal within 50 miles, you crank that antenna up, and you can kind of point it to where your best reception is. Just don't forget to put it back down before you leave the campground. You have some storage in the way of cabinets and some drawers. And some of these drawers, we do have utensils and cooking things in here. for you to use. In the stove, there's 3-burner stove. Just lift the container up and it'll lock back, and then choose which burner you want to use. Turn it on and hit the spark button, and it'll light that particular burner. So there's no oven. There is a nice refrigerator. The refrigerator will be in the automatic setting, and that way when it's plugged into electricity or the generator's running, the refrigerator will run on electric. But when it's not, then it'll run on gas. So you can set your cold setting. It's a very roomy refrigerator. You can put a lot of different things in there. And then there's the very roomy freezer section also, which is handy. There's a closet and a mirror. And in the back, at this point in time, there's twin beds, but it can be made into a king-size bed by taking the center cushion that has a hard bottom and placing it right in between on this little lip, and then you'll have a king-size bed. There are cabinets around for your use. Also speakers, if you like to listen to the radio. A television back here. Also the thermostat where you can turn it to heat, or you can turn it to cool, and just usually leave the fan on auto. And there's a light switch for this back room also. The bathroom door, the little knob needs to be pushed down. You push down, and then this opens all the way up to where it blocks off the front and gives you a lot of space for a bathroom. Gives you a sink, a shower, and an RV toilet. If you're familiar with RV toilets, there's a little lever on the side where you can put your foot on it, put it about halfway down, and it'll put water in the tank. And then push it all the way down, and that will flush it. So that's kind of how a RV toilet works. There's RV toilet paper, which we supply for you. And there's also up here little sanitizer discs. So after you dump, you can put that in there to kind of keep the odor. Air conditioning's up here. It'll run when that's set there. This couch pulls into a bed, and when it goes flat, there's an air mattress located in the bottom part. In order to do that, there's a little handle back here that you can snag onto, and that will allow you to kind of pull it forward. And when you pull it forward, there's some legs on it underneath here, which then come up and all the way around, so it'll lay down flat right there. And then in this corner underneath, there's a air mattress and some sheets for a queen-size bed. Electric pump for the air mattress. There's also the ladder that will go and be used in this pull-down bed. This pull-down bed's button is right here. If you insert the little silver key and turn it to on position, and then push the button down and make the pull-down bed go all the way down until it passes the seats. And of course, you cannot really use it unless the slide out is out, and then you can kind of recline the seats a little bit, so the pull-down bed will go down past the tops of these seats right here. Or if the seats are rotated in. For the nighttime, there's a button on the dash that says night shade, and that allows this shade up on top to come down and block off the windshield for privacy. And then there are curtains on the side which you can put on to the shade, which will allow you to have privacy within the coach. There's a place here to charge your cell phone. There's also other little outlets right there, a little space. The radio runs off the coach battery. So when you push this button, it'll turn on, and then you can select the radio station or the radio input. There's an auxiliary input also, or you can even watch the cameras. There are 3 cameras on this motorhome. one on each side. So when you turn the signal lights on either side, that camera will come on. Or you can put the rear camera on. And even while you're driving down the road, you can kind of be watching what's behind you by having the rear camera on. And it will not affect the radio. It will still play. On this side, for the driver, you have a place where you turn on your lights. And you also have windshield wipers. And a place down here to adjust your mirrors. You want your mirrors to be lined up good, because driving a motorhome is difficult with blind spots and turning, making sure that all that can be done easily enough. And there's a little flip top right here, so the passenger can flip this back and use it going down the road for their computer or whatever they'd like to do. Now, if we're at our campsite, let's say, and we're ready to go camping, we need to make sure that the motorhome is level. So here I have a little level that I kind of just store back here, and I put it on the floor, make sure that at least the bubble's within the line. And either way, otherwise there's some boards which I'll show you that you can put underneath of the tires. And again, that just is magnetic and sticks on in that pedestal right there. It's a little bit of a flip top counter for your kitchen. On the outside, here's where your television is on the outside. All storage. If you need to add fresh water, here's a inlet for fresh water. Just take the hose and add a little more fresh water if you want. Storage in the back here, which goes actually all the way through, but we have some things on the other side that you need for hookups. But it gives you quite a bit of room for lawn chairs and such. Then on the back there is a hitch, which works well for a bicycle rack. You can rent a bicycle rack from me or put your own there, and it's nice always to have bicycles when you're camping. When you've backed into your camping site and you're parked, in this back cabinet, I have some items that you'll need. First of all, I usually hook up the electricity. So this is a 30 amp, and if you're hooked up to like a house or something like that, there is an adapter that I put in this corner. There's an electric adapter there somewhere, and that can go on the end to change it from an 30 amp plug-in to a 110 plug-in. This end goes into the side of the motorhome, and it goes in this little area right here and plugs into this little inlet. Alongside of it is for cable TV if you happen to be at a campsite that offers cable television. Then after you've done the electricity, I do the water, and this is the end of the hose that has a regulator on it, and that's the end that will plug into the motorhome or screw into the motorhome. And here's the city water connection. So you screw the hose with the regulator in that particular area. Alongside of it is an exterior shower. If you maybe at the beach or you're somewhere where you just like to take a shower and rinse off and you're hooked up to city water, you'll be able to do that. I offer these boards that are here to level, put underneath the tire, back onto it. There's also a broom up here and a mop for the floor inside. Also, if you are going to be doing some cooking on a picnic table with an electric frying pan I have in one of the cupboards, it is good to run this particular cord and use it instead. Here's a little cover for your picnic table. I also have a DVD player which can be hooked up to the television that's there in the living room. There's a cord in the cabinet right up on top, and also can be hooked on the television outside. Now, if we're going to hook up sewer, or you're going to dump at a dump station, we take this hose right here, and it gets put onto the sewer connection, which the sewer connection is from behind this little cabinet right here. You don't always have to be hooked up to a sewer. If you're on full hookup campground, A lot of people don't really like to be hooked into the sewer just because there could be some odor or smells. They just like to dump then before they leave, which you're welcome to do so. There's a little cap on the end. There's some tabs and some knobs. You just take a little turn and that cap will drop off. You allow it to drop down. Then you take the sewer hose that also has these little hooks and you put them onto the tap and screw that on like that. A little further on than that, I'm just showing you here. And then put this other end into the sewer connection of the campground or the dump station, whatever it is that you're using. There's an adapter also in the back in case the different sizes, and there's an adapter you can put on it in case it's a bigger hole than that. Then when you're dumping, pull the black lever first and let the black water run out. When you can hear that it's all done, then pull the gray lever and pull it straight up and allow it to run till the hose completely stops running water. You'll be able to hear that. Then you can push the knobs back down again and push the gray ones back down again. Take the sewer hose off and then take the hose at the dump station or hose at your campsite and wrench this out so it is clean when you put it back away again. I always put it in this little container just to keep it away from everything else. There's also some rubber gloves in there if you want to use that. Here's another adapter in case the sewer hole is bigger than what that particular end is. Here's where you put gas in, unleaded gas, regular gas, right there. Shouldn't be any problems with any of that. Just make sure things kind of get put back when you get down the road. Make sure the electrical cover is snapped down, city water snapped down. And in the front, just in case you should have any mechanical problems, I hope and pray you don't, but if you should, there's a little silver key next to the driver hanging, and it gets inserted in here and in the other side, and then this front end comes open. And when it does, then you have access to the engine, the battery, the radiator, a few other odds and ends. So it's going to be a great camper. It's a fun thing to do going down the road, and I'm sure you will enjoy it. Thanks for watching this video, and I pray that God blesses you on your journey. Bye-bye.